Well, good morning. Today is Saturday, January 20th. It's not too bad outside today. It's cold, but I don't know. It's about 33. I forgot to look, but I think it's like 33 degrees. But today is Determined Jessica's birthday. And you know we gotta sing, so let's go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jessica. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day, wherever you may be. I'm on my way to my Weight Watchers meeting where I am going to have a gain. But you know, if I don't go, that doesn't mean I'm not going to have a gain. So I'm going to have a gain no matter what. Get on the scale, find out how much I gained. I didn't even want to get on the scale this morning to see because it's going to be bad. I know it's not going to be good. But today's the beginning of a new week for me, even though it's Saturday. I'm not going to go crazy tomorrow like I normally do. I've already made my mind up about that. I did read your comments, and I'm going to talk about them after the meeting. And you gave me a lot of great mantras, and I'm going to share them with you. And just get back on track. That's all we can do. I feel bad that I was bad, but you know, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. It's just, this is a long journey. It's not like a quick hop, skip, hop, skip, and a jump to the next place you're going to go. You have to enjoy it along the way, and you got to have ups and downs. It's never a straight path when you go anywhere. You always got to make turns and readjust your way of getting somewhere. And a lot of times there's a detour, and I guess I was on a detour this past week. So I got to get back on track, get off this detour. I think when I leave the meeting, I might go over to Best Buy and try to buy a different mount, because this one is just not working. It bounces way too much. I know that my roads aren't the smoothest that they could ever be, but it shouldn't bounce around as much. It should be some kind of Gina Pearson says she's got some kind of a magnet she puts on her phone onto the thing. She doesn't seem to have that many issues with it, but there's nobody around here. Let me see if I can fix you, because you guys need to be adjusted. Well, people were asking about, when Kathy was talking about the Halloween story. I worked at Montgomery Ward's, and I never understood. We lived in the predominantly young suburb that had lots of kids, and that's back when Halloween was really big. Everybody went out. Nowadays they have Halloween parties and trunk or treats at their church, and there's just not as many kids. I remember when my kids were little, they would take a pillowcase and they would be out for hours. They never went alone. Jim always went with them. I stayed home and gave out the candy, but they had a ball. But anyway, nobody ever came into work, was my point. Shoppers, except for shoplifters and the occasional person that didn't give out candy. But if you worked like the 5 to 9 shift, you worked from 5 to 6, and then from 6 to 9 it was dead. You might have had between 6 and 9, maybe, if you were lucky, 3 customers, if that. And so we only had, like on the first floor, we only had 3 cashiers, when on a normal night we probably would have had 13 or 14. And on the second floor we only had 1 cashier, where there would have normally probably been about 6 or 8. So they knew that it wasn't going to be busy, and they reflected that in the payroll. So anyway, to appease us, they told us we could dress up in costumes, and then there would be a $10 reward for whoever dressed up the best. And I did it as a punk rocker. I had the earring in my nose with the chain that came across that connected to the earrings in my ear. I put an eyebrow, like a magnet eyebrow earring in. I had my hair different colors. I had it all spiked up. I was full on punk rocker. I really was, and I took the attitude of it too. But anyway, I was still nice to the customer. customer. You notice I said that customer because I only had one customer the whole time. But then I did have this one guy. He was probably about my age, and he came in and he wanted a refund without a receipt. And the policy was that you got to store credit, and you got the lowest sale price that it had been in the last 30 days. Well, just before Christmas, well, not just before Christmas, like in September, we had this big sale of flannel shirts that regularly sold for $19.99, and just for one weekend only, we sold them for $4.99, like a Labor Day special or something. And so he was bringing this shirt back, and he wanted the full $19.99 because that's what they were on the rack. And then I was trying to explain to him. Well, then he started calling me a blankety blank blank, and you know, go blankety blank yourself, and you know, you can just blankety blank the, you know, just, he was just going crazy. And I was trying to be nice, and then finally I just couldn't take it anymore, and everything he was saying to me I said right back to him. And then he got madder and started using more words. And I know you might find this hard to believe, but I have quite the vocabulary when I get upset, and I can come up with some pretty choice words, and that was no stopping me, and I went crazy. And he got so belligerent at that point, and so he was loud, I was loud, and luckily there were no other customers in the store because we would have had an audience. I know we would have. And then Kathy, who was my friend even then at the time, but she was a manager, she was the manager of the ladies department, she came over to try to settle the problem. But you know, and not because she was my friend, it was just she was enforcing the store policy. She told him, you know, that's the best we can do unless you come up with a receipt. And he grabbed that shirt and he walked out. He was just so pissed. But anyway, that was my experience at Halloween. I went on the rest of the night, had a good time. But I just, I don't know. I kind of did, I was a different person back then. I mean, everybody is a different person. And, you know, not that I was rude. If you're nice to me, I'm going to be nice to you. But if you're rude to me, I'm only going to take it for so long. I just really am. Because that's just who I am. Anyway, I know that was a boring story, but anyway, we're here. I know, don't I sound enthused? We're here. We've arrived. You've arrived at your destination. Go face the music. And it's not going to be pretty music either. It's going to be music you don't want to hear. But I'm going to go. And as much as I shouldn't, I need to take a drink before I go because my throat's a little dry. Okay. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I'm better than this. I am better than this. I know I'm better than this. I can do way better. I am going to do way better. Well, okay, I did have a gain, which I knew. And I didn't even get on the scale this morning because I really thought I was going to gain like 3 pounds, 4 pounds. I just felt it. My body was just holding it. I just knew it. So even when I got on, before I got on the scale, and I got on my favorite scale even, and I told the girl, I said, I didn't want to come, didn't want to be here, I don't want to go, I don't want to see it. And she says, well, did you want to do a pass week? You know, like you can skip one, you know, one time in that way. And I went, no, I need to know how bad I did. I can't put my head in the sand. It's not going to change. I just have to know where I'm starting from. So I got on the scale, and she said, oh, you did have a gain. But it was only 0.2. 0.2, all that worrying. 0.2. So in the last 2 weeks, I haven't even gained a half a pound. You know, 0.4 is what I've gained in the last 2 weeks, which is nothing. And who was it? I wrote it down. I wrote it down so I would know and I would remember. Jess R. reminded me. It's 3 ounces. Do you know how much 3 ounces is? I put it in a little thing. I'm going to show you when I get home how much 3 ounces actually is. And that is definitely water weight. So in the last 2 weeks, I've gained 6 ounces. In the whole scheme of things, 6 ounces, and I'm beating myself up. I'm letting myself convince myself that I'm not worthy, I'm not worth it, I'm not worthy. Oh, Saturday Night Live. I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. But you know what? It's nothing. In the whole scheme of things, that's nothing. Why did I let myself beat myself up? And I know last week I said it didn't bother me, and I really at the time didn't think it bothered me. But now I have it in perspective. I really have my mindset the right way. 0.2 gain this week and 0.2 gain last week is nothing. I lost almost, the previous 4 weeks I lost, let me look and see in my book, I don't want to quote myself, 5.7 pounds. So even with that, I'm still 5.3 ahead of the game from what if I wouldn't have been trying to lose weight. But see, wasn't it nice? Look at all those stars I had on that page. And now look at on this next page. No stars. So I'm going to get stars on this side. But, you know, it was just not worth worrying about. Not worth worrying about. So, I'm going to go home. I'm going to eat healthy today. I'm going to have a taco for dinner. I did freeze up the extra meat I had the other day, but instead of having them in 4-ounce packets, I put them in 3 ounces, which will cut down on the points a little bit. I'm going to use regular sour cream because that fat-free I threw away. But I'm going to count the points. The low-fat cheese I liked. That wasn't a problem. And I did like the black beans. It was the first time I put black beans on a taco. And I did like that. And just going on from there. So the 0.2 was actually the cake and the ice cream. And it wasn't so much the ice cream, it was the ice cream I didn't want to throw away. That was the 0.2. So that was not my friend, and I was not being frugal. That was not good. That was just not good. So I'm going to go home, eat a healthy breakfast, and continue on with my day. I'm really in a good mood now. 0.2. Nothing. A new day, a new week. I'm starting over. Reset, we're hitting that reset button. Even though it's not Christmas, I put out my Santa cup to remind me that I did it for the holidays and I can do it again. So here's my breakfast. I started my day with a prayer. I forgot to tell you, I put on here. Let me fix this. My pen off. Strengthen. 0.2 gain. Okay, so I started my day with a prayer. I drank 50 ounces of water so far. I had a 0.2 gain. My quote is, positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative will. Let me start that again. Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking ever will. 25 smart points, 0 for my eggs, my berry, my banana, my grapefruit tea and water, 3 for my half a bagel, 1 for my 1 teaspoon of peanut butter, and 3 for my 4 slices of bread. 4 slices of bread. 4 slices of bacon, and it's a 7-point breakfast. I still have 18 points. And there you go. And I would like to thank Jess R. for reminding me that 0.2 is just a 3-ounce gain. So this is what 3 ounces looks like. That's 3 ounces of apple juice. Don't get bad thoughts there. This is apple juice. 3 ounces of apple juice in this little cup. And this is 3 ounces of butter. That is hardly anything worth mentioning. It really is. So thank you for putting it in the right perspective.